for the first time. A little bit later start today. I'm gonna blame the holiday. And we are headed to the boat. So, if you are following along on your server, boat should be here in about 2 or 3 minutes. If you are just following along at home, boat gets here at the turn of the hour. Boat is the exciting part. The rest of it is all relaxing. So, if you're here for a zen time, maybe tune back in at about 20. But otherwise, for the rest of you, I'll see you out there on the boat. Alright, we are on the boat. We're at the Sealed Alice. We are here at night. That's why it's so dark. Voyage missions today, or at least for this boat, are going to be catching 13 crabs, As always, 5 fish rated 3 stars or higher. And today, 27 fish with a strong bite. Strong bite is 2 exclamation marks. Seal dollies at night means that we are using ragworm for a chance at spectral current. Ragworm and then krill if you're going for those Fisher's Intuition fish. And krill during spectral current for points. See what we get? Alright, Zone 2, progress report. We have caught 8 of our 13 crabs. We have got all 5 of our 3-star or higher fish. We are at 14 out of 17, make that 15 out of 17, or 27. Fish with a strong bite, and we are in the northern Strait of Merlthor. We are here during the day. So we are using Ragworm for a chance at Spectral Current, Ragworm for Fisher's Intuition as well, and Plumpworm during Spectral Current for our best chance at points. We also stand at 1 Spectral Current. We are in Zone 2, so sorry, but guessing is closed. If you put your guess anywhere but in the Twitch chat, I can't see it. We got the Dolphin buff. Cetaceous Speed increases our GP regeneration, and there is a higher chance we'll get a Spectral Current. So there's a good chance we will have 2 Spectral Currents going into Zone 3. Again, guessing slash betting is closed, so no further bets, please. We're in Zone 3, the final zone. Progress report. We have caught 8 of our 13 crabs, so we're looking for crabs. We have all of our 3-star or higher fish. We have all of our fish with a strong bite. We are in the Blood Brine Sea. That is where we're going to end. It is sunset, so we are watching the sunset play across the waters here. We are going to be using krill for our best chance at spectral current, ragworm, and then krill if we're interested in Fisher's Intuition and plumpworm during the spectral current for points. Again, we're looking for crabs. We just got a blood polish crab, so we are well on the way. We just need 4 more. Looks like no spectral current in the final zone. Final point total is around 5,200, and we finished all our voyage missions. So let's see what that's done for us with the bonuses. Let's see where that puts us in the points. 90% bonuses, that puts us just under 10,000. We've got 9973. We did somehow get Orange Gatherer scripts off of that. Don't know how that happened. That doesn't always happen. And we've gotten higher scores before, so yeah, there's that. It is a Thursday. I did finish Endwalker, so we are going to be doing Studium turn-ins if we can figure out where to go. I did not remember to unlock flying in all of the Endwalker zones, so there will be a lot of walking. Forgot there was stuff to read. Give me just a moment. Now, allow me to explain our work here. Professors and students from our many faculties gather in Searchers' Meet in order to do business with and recruit reputable individuals such as yourself. Allow me to briefly introduce those here at present. Here we have Boric from the Faculty of Archaeology. He works as an assistant to one Professor Rurusha and is currently seeking a skilled metalworker to help restore an ancient relic. Then there's Jude, who belongs to the Faculty of Astronomy. He seems to be looking for an artisan able to work with leather, cloth, or wood. But he wouldn't tell me much more than that. He's awfully shy, you see. Next we have Debroya, a student studying in the Faculty of Medicine. I'm fairly sure she's carrying out research under the supervision of Professor Galvaroche. In any case, I hear she's after someone who knows a thing or two about medicine and nutrition. And here's Hinageshi of the Faculty of Anthropology. She told me she's searching for botanists and miners at present. By the sounds of it, she and Professor Tankin are dealing with a formidable task. Last but not least, this is Professor Talakatia, an associate professor in the Faculty of Aetherology. I heard he's in need of a fisher to help him conduct research for his thesis. Unfortunately, things do not seem to be progressing well for him at the moment. I think we're going to be talking to Talaka. I'd say those five are the ones most in need of supplementary aid. I'll leave it to your discretion as to who you choose to help. Although, be forewarned, academics can be something of an odd bunch. Just be sure not to leave anyone in the lurch after you've agreed to help them. We can now do deliveries to the Studium. Where is delivery dude? Talaka. Could it be? Yes, you must be the gleaner I've heard so much about. Let me get straight to the point. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not a gleaner. I'm a fisher. Oh, but where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Talakatia, and I'm an associate professor in the Faculty of Etherology here. To tell the truth, I'm in a bit of a bind. I'm scheduled to make a major presentation at a conference in the near future, but as shamed as I am to admit it, I've not been able to get enough data to properly finish my thesis. If I'm unable to prove the worth of my research, then my funding is all but certain to dry up. As you can see, the stakes are high. You have the look of an adept angler about you, am I right? If so, you could be just the person I need. There's not an angler that's better. I put that to you. This section here is one I've rented out for my work. Might I interest you in taking a look? This section where? Oh, and he's off. I'm guessing we follow. Impressive, isn't it? I bet you've never laid eyes on such a fine fish tank before. Sadly, as you can see, it's entirely devoid of fish. Anyhow, I suppose I should tell you about my work. You see, I research water veins. Not just any old ones, mind you, but those that carry ether, not unlike the life stream, or the etheric currents in the wind. Life is naturally drawn to areas abundant in ether, which is why you might observe that popular fishing spots are often also ether-rich. My research focuses, in particular, on veins which carry especially high concentrations of ether. Currents commonly known as spectral currents. Hey, we just had 2 of those. Are you perchance familiar with the phenomenon? I put it to you that there's no one more familiar with the phenomenon. I just saw one. There we go. That's what we'll say. Oh ho! I'd expect nothing less from a veteran gleaner. Again, I don't think we're gleaners in this instance. I must say, it's always nice to meet someone familiar with the subject of my life's work. In any event, the most important point to remember is just how important ether currents are for aquatic life. To look at it the other way, it is possible to identify how strong the local ether currents are by studying the fish and other aquatic life in any given area. And that's where we come full circle. I require specimens of fish from various bodies of water to confirm my hypothesis regarding underwater ether currents. And there's the rub. The areas most worth researching also happen to be the hardest to reach. Of course, I would not be averse to risking the journey myself, if only it were not for my, condition. Ah yes, I suppose I should explain. Put simply, I have long suffered from a particularly nasty case of ether sickness. Why, I can't even use the Ethernet or any sort of teleportation magics. Quite annoying when your work partially depends on such things, to say the least. Yeah, that would be bad. I know. An etherologist who can't stomach ether. I wouldn't believe it, were I not living this nightmare myself. Yeah, what can you do? But perhaps you are skeptical. I have an idea. Follow me to the Etherite Plaza, and I'll show you just how bad I've got. I don't want him to be hurt. I don't need proof. Can we say we don't need proof? Looks like no. Alright. Poor sod. I do like his little contraption. I think I'm going to steal it when we're done with all this. Ah, there you are. All right. Watch closely now. Okay. I'm watching. Bleg. And he's down. You see, I'm feeling so queasy, it's all I can do to hold down the contents of my stomach. Urk, the whole world, it is spinning. Someone make it stop. What is this? Urk, forgive me. I can't tell if he's hallucinating or not. I didn't see a fairy there. Well, there you have it. My condition has manifested itself all over the ground for you. That's disgusting. I say, Talaka, are you quite all right? Professor Nelly. I see your condition's as bad as ever. One would think you'd avoid a place like this. And you? Ah, are you perchance assisting Talaka with his research? The boy may suffer from terrible ether sickness, but as a scholar, he has as much potential as anyone I've seen. You develop an eye for these things when you've been in academia for as long as I have. But I must be on my way. I very much look forward to reading your finished thesis, Talaka. And a wave, and a bow, and away. And now, Urk. Did I mention that I don't handle pressure particularly well? I've barely written the introduction to my paper, and Professor Nelle is already selling it up to his peers. How can I possibly live up to his expectations? Incidentally, Professor Nelle is one of the leading authorities in the world of etherology. Some would even say he's the equal of Master Matoya, and for some reason, he seems to have taken a liking to me. He's the one who pushed for the school to allow me to form my own research team as the first and trial phase of a program to support young scholars. Otherwise, a humble associate professor such as myself would never be able to conduct such an ambitious project. And yet I run the risk of losing everything if I don't turn my potential into actual results at the upcoming conference. Not only would my own research team be disbanded, but there's a high likelihood that Professor Nelle's program would be terminated, meaning that no other young scholar would ever again receive the opportunity I did. The very future of the studium is at stake. Part of me wishes I could drink my worries away. Sadly, I handle alcohol about as well as I handle ether. I may not be good at dealing with ether or pressure, but one thing is certain. For Professor Nelle's sake, I must not fail. I cannot. And so I beg of you, pray help me. There is no one else to whom I can turn. Here we go. Leave it to me. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You are a shining beacon of hope for all the young scholars here in Charlayan. Now, let us head back to Searcher's Meet so we can get to the task. I shall meet you back in my office. Ah, Frontier, I was just compiling a list of fish that I'll be needing for my research. Let me know when you're ready to get to fishing. I'll fill you in on exactly what I would ask you to do. Hopefully it's fish. Faculty of Etherology Studium deliveries unlocked. You may now undertake deliveries for the Faculty of Etherology at the Studium. Speak to Talaka to learn more. I just call him Talaka. I don't use his last name. We're on friendly terms like that. Alright then, shall we get started? To review, I require samples of aquatic life from various bodies of water that I might analyze them and ascertain the current state of the respective region's underwater ether currents. Before I send you off to far-flung locales, I'd like to gather data from somewhere nearby. Collecting samples from a stable, controlled environment like Labyrinthos should give me a good basis with which to compare any future findings. To that end, I'd like to ask you to catch me some giant ether lice, and a fair share of them, to ensure a representative sample size. According to my preliminary research, they swim in abundance near the phreatic conduit, and have a noted fondness for gold salmon roe. Delivery commenced. You may now undertake deliveries for the Faculty of Etherology at the Studium. By delivering the requested items to Talaka and raising yourself in his esteem, you can help him to finally complete his thesis. Items with a higher collectability will result in greater rewards upon delivery. Speak with Talaka to view the custom deliveries list. Hello, Talaka. Can you show me the ether lice? Each faculty of the Studium has a list of requested deliveries. He will accept items from fishers. The items requested will vary according to your level. Oh. So we need giant ether lice, and we need them to be at least 166 or higher. Let's go! I think we might need that golden salmon roe. Never mind. We needed them to be 166 at least, so 176 is very good. And with that, we have our 6 giant ether lice. Let us head back to Talaka and see what he has to say. Now this is a remarkable catch. Impressive specimens like these will give me even more quality data. I can't thank you enough. In making your first successful delivery, you have begun to earn Talaka's trust. Deliver the items Talaka needs, and deliver them often to improve your standing with the Faculty of Etherology. And we're away to a cutscene. Thanks to your efforts, I've been able to compile a full set of reference data. Now, we can finally get started on spots further afield. But before that, I haven't yet explained my research to you in detail, have I? Simply put, there's a certain hypothesis I wish to prove. In my studies over the years, I have come to believe that much like the tide ebbs and flows with the phases of the moon, so too do the underwater ether currents that cover our entire planet. When the concentration of ether in any given current changes, aquatic life in the area grows more or less abundant, which ultimately affects the currents of the ocean itself. My hope is that, if I can prove this and accurately predict these changes, we might theoretically identify the best times for fishing, and even know when it's safest to navigate the seas. Needless to say, it would be a major breakthrough, and I'm one step closer to realizing it all, thanks to you. That's me. Ah, Talaka, it looks like your research is progressing well. Professor Nelle, I heard that your friend here had started gathering samples for you, so I brought a few choice tomes with me that might serve to point you in the right direction. As always, you are too kind, Professor. I cannot thank you enough. Don't mention it. When the time comes that your research bears fruit, that will be all the thanks I need. Your mind for developing compelling hypotheses has always impressed me. You lacked only for a skilled gleaner to help you overcome the limits of your affliction. I will be watching this new partnership of yours with great interest. And a good day to you, Professor. Phew! Why, that actually wasn't so bad. Just having you around has already taken a huge weight off my shoulders. Up until now, Professor Nelle's confidence in me only made me feel pressured to deliver something that I wasn't even sure I was capable of. And now I've finally started to make some tangible progress, and it's all because of you. For the first time, I feel like I may have a bright future in academia after all. Huzzah! Yes, I have a feeling everything is going to go swimmingly, no pun intended, as long as you're by my side. Studium delivery complete. You have delivered the requested items. Esteem level increased. Talaka now considers you a dependable fisher. It appears that the giant ether lice is in the terrarium, the aquarium, behind Talaka now. Maybe it'll have all the fish in there by the end. Oh, hello again. And hello to you too, Talaka. Did you notice the fish tank, by the way? Hey, I did. I went ahead and put one of my research specimens in it. Quite the looker, wouldn't you say? I don't think I would say that, actually. I tell you, so many things have fallen into place ever since you showed up. I'm having the time of my life, analyzing all this data. I mean to continue my analysis of ether lice, of course, but I will task another gleaner with such mundane tasks. Instead, I'd like to make full use of your skills by having you visit an area I've long been fascinated with. I speak of the oceans surrounding Thavnair. I have reason to believe there was a significant change in the ether currents in those waters that occurred around the time of the calamity. Professor Nelle shared with me some data from 20 years prior, and I would compare it with current data to ascertain if I am correct. I'm your guy. The waters around Thavnair, you see, have long been one of the focal points of Professor Nelle's research. I wish to study them more to honor his work, whilst also using it as a starting point for my own. Before you go, however, word of warning. Ever since the calamity, the region is notorious for shipwrecks. I realize that you are a seasoned professional, but I fully understand if you do not want to take on the risk. Consider it done. You had only to ask. Oh, thank you. I knew I could count on you. Anyhow, I'd like you to fish the same species that Professor Nelle studied 20 years ago. To wit, the Garjana wrasse. According to the books the professor gave me, they live near the Great Runoff and are known to enjoy nibbling on shrimp balls. That should do it. Be safe out there, yes? We forgot the golden salmon roe, but I need to remember the shrimp balls. We need Garjana wrasse. Let me see if they sell shrimp balls here if I've got to go further afield. Merchant! May I purchase some shrimp balls from you? I may. I'm going to buy... Let's start with 200. No, not 300. 200. We're gonna head to Yedlamad to start with, but I think we'll have to go. We might have to go to the Great Work. Somewhere in the ocean, we'll look for the Great Runoff here. That is the Great Work. That's Giant Skull. The Wakeful, the Burning Field, the Shroud of Samga. There's supposed to be ocean fish. So maybe we try... I think over here is a waterfall. So that might count as the Great Runoff? Well, no, that's not a waterfall. Let's try here. What do you think? We did it. We found the great runoff. Thankfully, all of the fish that I caught were of a high enough level. I did not confirm what we needed before we left, so that is a relief. Find that we do not have to go back out. We're gonna do the turn-in, and we will see what Talaka says. Dear me, what an impressive specimen. This should allow me to collect data as complete as Professor Nele's from 2 decades ago. I can't wait to compare my findings. Well, I dare say I've more than enough samples now. Pray wait for just a moment. I'm going to ask Professor Nele to take a look. Pan to the ceiling. Pan down. It's not every day that you ask after me, Talaka. I trust this means that your research is coming along well. Better than I could have ever imagined. As a matter of fact, I was hoping to hear your thoughts on my latest findings. Comparing my data with yours from 20 years ago, I can say with confidence that the concentration of ether in the area did indeed show an increase around the time of the calamity. From these numbers, I would posit that smaller fish species in the area have increased in abundance several-fold. The Garjana Ras, in particular, is known for protecting itself from predators by creating disturbances in the surrounding ether. A population increase of such scale would undoubtedly result in a dramatic impact on its habitat. Which would go a long way to explaining the countless shipwrecks. The sheer number of these fish would surely play havoc with ships' ether compasses. Outstanding work, Talaka. Of course, more data will be needed to prove your assertions as fact. Should it hold true, however, this could be a discovery of no small import. Come to think of it, I remember you showing considerable interest in my research into the seas around Thavnir. What exactly was it that drew you to my work? Oh, it's just, well, I always found the figures somewhat unnatural. Call it a hunch. But I couldn't help but feel like it warranted further research. Ah, now that's the true spirit of a scholar. Even the most epoch-making of discoveries often started from observation of a simple irregularity or curiosity. With that intuition and power of observation, you're going to go places, Talaka. I knew my faith in you was not misplaced. I am? You flatter me, Professor. Ellipsis. Haha. Take care not to let it go to your head. Your potential will only be stifled if you allow yourself to be content with minor progress and faint praise. Of course, Professor. I will redouble my efforts and work harder than ever to deliver results. Exit stage left. And on that note, I'd best get to work summarizing my findings for inclusion in my thesis. If I am able to identify an explicit correlation amongst the post-calamity change in ether concentration, the explosion of the fish population, and the increase in shipwrecks, it will go a long way toward proving my theory correct. Of course, I'll be needing more fish specimens before that can happen. Fair warning, I might have to send you to even more hazardous locales. And yet I'm sure you're up to the challenge. Yes? Nod. Splendid, I swear, this is the most invigorated I've ever felt about my research. Now, where to start? Another ellipsis. This guy loves ellipsises. Ellipses? Ellipsises. You know what? I'm sticking with my first one. Ellipsises. It's more fun to say. Talaka now considers you a formidable fisher. hello again. I truly can't thank you enough. The samples you've provided me with have allowed me to make incredible progress in my work. As it happens, I actually just decided on the next specimen I'd like to ask you to procure. It's still the ether lice in the tank behind you, my dude. You see, I've essentially completed my analysis of the currents surrounding Thavner. I must say, it's been most enlightening. Pause for a hydration break. Next, I would ask you to travel to a place where we have no pre-existing data. To wit, I mean to research the currents of Garlemald. We've been unable to even set foot in the region until now, which means that gathering data there could lead to a truly revolutionary discovery. After all, we still have no idea how the underwater ether currents there are connected with those in other regions. Alas, lacking data from years past, it won't be such a simple task to identify the changes that have occurred over the decades. I do, however, have an idea how we might get around that. That answer, my friend, my fisherman friend, is shellfish. Studying the growth lines within their shells should allow me to draw some conclusions about how their habitat has changed over time. Sounds kind of shellfish if you ask me. After carefully perusing Professor Nelly's tomes, I've come to the conclusion that Garlean clams would be particularly suitable as a research specimen. Do you think you'd be up to the task of catching some for me? Why, yes! Clams, you say? Leave it to me. Wonderful. I'm quite confident that quality data from Garlemald is what will allow my thesis to truly begin to take shape. Ah yes, I also read that clams exist in abundance in the area around Camp Broken Glass, and that leeches are particularly effective in luring them up from the water's bottom. Pray forgive me for asking you to travel to such a perilous location. Please do whatever you must to stay safe. This time we are going to check and see what the level is for the clams that we need to catch. $184. Pardon me, sir, but do you sell leeches? Oh, it's just called leech. Alright, this is going to be our last Garlean clam that we need. I think I am going to head back to Limsa to get ready for the boat, so we do not miss the boat. And we will do the turn-in afterwards. I don't know how long the cutscenes are going to take for this, so we are going to play it safe and head back for the boat first. But we will pick back up with the Studium turn-ins as soon as we're finished with this boat. Boat number 2, after all of our studium fun, we are working with some voyage missions here. We are out to catch fugu. We need 13 of those guys. We need 5 fish rated 3-star or higher. And we need 18 fish with a strong bite. Strong bite is 2 exclamation marks. We are in the Sealed Alice. Again, we are here at night. Oh my goodness, we've already gotten our Spectral Current. Ragworm for a chance at Spectral. Ragworm, then Krill for Fisher's Intuition. Krill during Spectral for points. Progress report. We have caught 6 of our 13 fugu. We caught all 5 of our 3-star or higher fish. We've caught 12 of our 18 fish with a strong bite. We got a spectral current in the last zone, and we are in the Ratano Sea during the day. Ratano Sea during the day means we're using plump worm for our best chance at spectral currents, plump worm and then krill for Fisher's intuition, plump worm during spectral currents for points. So basically, plump worm all throughout. We're in the final zone. Progress report. We have 7 of our 13 fugu. We finished out our strong bite. We got the last that we needed to get our 18. And we are in the Rothlet Sound for sunset. We're going to be using Plump Worm for our best chance at Spectral Current, Ragworm for Fisher's Intuition, and Krill during Spectral Current for points. We finished all our voyage missions. Our raw score was around 9,000. We'll see what the bonuses do for our final score. %90 bonuses, just like the first boat. We got 16,387 as the final score. And now, back to the studium. We'll see if he updates the aquarium this time. You've done it, and what a remarkable sample it is. My colleagues will be burning with envy when they hear I've obtained a specimen from Garlemald. How can I even begin to express my gratitude? Oh, you might be wondering who this is. My research has been progressing so well of late that I've brought on a few of my students to serve as assistants and help me analyze all this data. Hello. At any rate, I cannot thank you enough for braving such hostile environs for the sake of my life's work. No one in my field has had the chance to obtain substantial data from Garlemald until now. It would be no understatement to say your contribution is historic. Needless to say, this puts even more pressure on me to deliver with my thesis. Oh dear, my stomach's starting to feel queasy just thinking about it. Ah, Talaka, would you believe you're the talk of the studium? Even the senior faculty can scarcely wait to hear what you're able to glean about the ether currents of Garlemald. Professor, yes, it's all thanks to Frontier here. Without his aid, I never could have procured this most invaluable specimen. Indeed, truly I have not seen a partnership between scholar and gleaner bear such fruit so swiftly in a very long time. Look. Pause for effect. Oh, that's right. Speaking of gleaning, I meant to tell you about everything I'd learned from the clams you brought. Tell me, I am pleased to report that analyzing Garlean clams appears to have been the right call. Examining their growth lines, I was able to find specimens as old as 97 years, giving me almost a full century of data to analyze. By far the most interesting thing I've noticed so far is the reverse correlation between the ether levels near Thavnir and those in Garlemald. That is to say, over periods of time when the ether concentration was high near Thavnir, it was low in Garlemald. The reverse was also true. I see. That bit of evidence would seem to corroborate your hypothesis that the planet's ether currents move in tandem with each other. Should you manage to collect data from more regions still, I suspect you may very well be able to accurately predict changes in the fish population across the world. This could have remarkable implications for the future of the fishing trade. I was thinking the very same, Professor. Nothing would give me greater joy than if my research were to bring about a tangible improvement in people's lives. Before meeting you, I never dreamed I would make it this far, but now I feel more confident than ever that I will be able to prove my hypothesis one day. Why, I can almost see my completed thesis in my mind's eye, but I can't afford to get too complacent just yet. The most important work remains to be done. Yep. Oh, and he's just gone. am pleased to see that all is progressing well, and yet do not be surprised if there comes a time when Talaka's resolve as a researcher is tested. A time when he is forced to consider what it is that truly drives him to engage in his work. For such time comes to all scholars, no matter how naturally gifted they may be. Should Talaka find himself at an impasse, can I trust you to lend him your support when it is needed most? It would mean the world to him, and also to me. Why, yes. Yes, of course. Talaka now considers you a seasoned fisher. Thanks to your most selfless contributions, I draw closer and closer to proving my hypothesis correct. Other gleaners have also been helping me by continuing to find specimens for me in calmer waters. But I would gather data from further and further afield, which is, of course, where you come in. Professor Abrasi, it's not like you to get so excited, whatever is the matter. But I haven't introduced you to yet, have I? This is Abrasi, one of my new research assistants. She's been a great help in analyzing all the data we've collected. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but this is no time for pleasantries. A whale has somehow wandered its way into Scholar's Harbor. The harbor master has requested that you come and assess the situation with all haste. Oh dear, I suppose we'd best be in a hurry then. My apologies, but it seems our work will have to wait until later. In the meanwhile, would you accompany me to the harbor? Your insight into the situation could prove most valuable. To the harbor! I hope he uses sprint. Why, look at this veritable gaggle of people. There must be a whale of a tail there. That's a breed that calls the northern seas home. It's not especially rare to see them off the coast, but I've never heard of one coming so close to land as this. It's most strange. It doesn't appear to be wounded, nor have there been any notable storms of late, whatever might have caused it to veer so far off its normal course. What indeed? At any rate, we need to move it to one of our facilities and ensure it's kept safe while we tend to its wounds it may have. Ensure it's kept safe while we tend to its wounds it may have, and study it more. I suppose we should check its ether levels as well. Ready a team for me, Abrasi? Of course, Professor. This may be quite the undertaking, my apologies, but our project will have to wait a while longer. Let us reconvene back at Searcher's Meet and discuss the matter further. And now we wait. For patience is a fisherman's game. Oh, hello there. So very sorry for keeping you waiting. We just finished tending to the creature's ailments and doing some preliminary analysis. As we suspected, the whale hadn't sustained any major injuries. However, it does seem to be suffering from severe ether sickness and is highly disoriented as a result. Needless to say, I can sympathize. The creature's aether levels were also cause for concern, which would explain why it wound up somewhere so far from its usual habitat. That said, we're still none the wiser as to what caused all of this. How goes it, Talaka? Oh, and Frontier, what a pleasant surprise. I've heard all about your predicament with the wayward whale. Master Kite, to what do I owe the pleasure? I was simply hoping to pick your brains about something that I imagine is related to your line of work. Around the same time that your larger-than-life friend wandered into the harbor, a veritable legion of fish washed ashore in Yedlamad, near the experimental etherite. That sounds too similar to be mere coincidence. Curious behavior by aquatic life has been known to portend natural disasters. Yes, this strikes me as very much related to my studies. 1 second while I get a bit of a drink here. That said, nothing I have gleaned thus far has suggested that ether sickness could change so drastically as to inflict nearby creatures with ether sickness. All I have observed suggests that the currents of the planet follow a simple and regular rhythm, not unlike the tides. Indeed, the entirety of my research up until now has been focused on proving this point. If there has been a sudden disturbance in the underwater ether currents, then it will take some time to determine the cause. I also need to attend the whale. Oh, when will I have time to return to my thesis? As for the whale, the Studium has already announced that it will be dispatching a vessel to research the ether currents in the seas near Charlayan. It won't benefit any of us if such incidents continue to occur, after all. If we wish to investigate the link between the two events, as Mr. Kite suggested, then perhaps we should pay a visit to Thavnair. An astute suggestion. You could recruit the help of one of our colleagues over there, or... Wait a moment. I believe you have the perfect man for the job right here. Sure, I'll go to Thavnair. As generous and dependable as ever. Yes, I knew you'd be up to the task. I would accompany Frontier. You would? When was the last time you even ventured outside the Studium's grounds? That's not important. Frontier has risked life and limb to help me with my research. I can't just keep leaving all the hard work to him. But Professor, going to Thavnair means you would have to travel via the Etherite, or by ship. Not that you'd handle that any better. You don't have to tell me that. Still, time is of the essence. Besides, I'll never be truly respected as a researcher if I don't go out and get my hands dirty from time to time. I have let my fears rule me for far too long. Today is the day I conquer them. Well, it's clear you're not going to change your mind. At least try not to cause Frontier too much trouble. Now that you mention it, I hadn't consulted you on the matter. Frontier, do you mind if I join you this time? Not at all. Fantastic. In that case, I shall see you in Yedlamad. Frontier. Is that you? Ah, you know this fellow? The poor man was so ill, I thought he might die. I'd not have believed anyone could suffer from such severe ether sickness if I hadn't seen it myself. Le shrug. Be glad you weren't here to see me immediately after I arrived. I was even less a pretty sight than what you witnessed at the Aetherite Plaza back in Charlayan. Close up. A lot of dancing talakas. And don't even get me started on the most ghastly visions I saw. Countless replicas of myself, dancing and singing and spinning, spinning, spinning. Oh, the spinning. Please, make it stop. Irk. I'd suggest you lie down for a while still, friend. It wasn't so long ago that you were convulsing on the ground, spitting up some truly ghastly bile. You are right, my friend. My apologies for making you worry so. I'm truly sorry about this, Frontier. Might you be so kind as to ask around while I rest here a bit more? You can count on me. I've never seen anything like it. Entire schools of fish suddenly washing up ashore. There were so many you couldn't see a single grain of sand. Our fishers have their hands full trying to clean up the mess even as we speak. Troublingly, we have no idea what caused it. It's not as if anything ominous occurred to portend such an event. Why, the night before was peaceful as always. The full moon shining bright in the night sky. Now that you mention it, there was one thing out of the ordinary, earlier the day before the fish appeared. The river that runs here from the shroud of the Samga was swelling like mad. The seawater flowed back into the river, and some say they saw it carrying fish deep, deep into the woods. I think the last point is out on the docks. There it is. Ah, you think this is a lot of fish? You should have been here earlier. This is a massive improvement, believe you me. No time to rest, though. If they start rotting, the stench alone will be enough to make the whole town ill. What's especially bizarre is that these fish normally stay away from land altogether, save for when they go up rivers, to lay their eggs, that is. Anyhow, I've never seen or smelled anything like it in my life, and I hope I never do again. My apologies for making you go alone, friend. I still can't quite stand up straight, but I feel much better than when I arrived. Tell me, were you able to learn anything of interest from the townspeople? A full moon the night before and a strong tide flowing up into the river. It would seem this is what we call a tidal bore, The fact that these fish are typically not seen near the coast is strangely reminiscent of our whale problem as well. No, this cannot be mere coincidence. The matter of these fish that were supposedly carried upstream into the woods intrigues me as well. Assuming they're still alive, they would provide much more useful data than those rotting corpses on the beach. If we were to analyze them and find them in a similar etheric state as the whale in Charlene, we could safely conclude that both events were caused by the same or at least similar phenomenon. I'm terribly sorry to impose upon you again, but could you go catch those fish for me? They might very well be the key to solving this mystery. From the fisherman's description, swimming upstream, you said. I suspect we are looking for Alnaran salmon. If so, those leeches you used on the clams in Garlemald should serve you well again here. Where am I meant to go? Up the river? And through the woods? Not on this side of the wall. Let's head to the other. Quest mentioned Sirota. That should be right around here. We've already got the leeches set as bait. This might be the last quest we're able to do this week. Might have to swing back to this next Thursday. I loathe to impose, but you must go into the woods and catch those fish for me. I didn't come all this way just to get myself sick. I must solve this mystery. And mystery you shall solve, sir. Oh, thank the gods, and thank you, my friend. I would have hated to go home with nothing but the memory of my worst bout of aether sickness ever. I'm happy to report that I also made some progress myself. I had a word with the alchemists who helped me, and it turns out that they have a keen interest in ether as well. We had an exchange of views that was most stimulating. I may not have been able to do much while here, but I'm glad I made the effort to leave the studium for once. Now it's time we return so I can make use of this new knowledge and analyze the sample you so kindly reeled in for me. Alas, while we may not need to use that god's awful experimental aetherite to travel back, an aetherite is still an aetherite. Heavens have mercy. And 12 forfeit. To the studium! Good to see you return. Needless to say, the trip was a rough one for me. Thankfully, it wasn't nearly as uncomfortable as that dreadful experimental aetherite. I've just about finished analyzing the fish you caught in Thavnir. As expected, its ether levels are almost identical to those of the wayward whale. So you believe that a sudden change in the concentration of ether in the nearby currents caused them to completely alter their behavior? Precisely. That said, the change was of such magnitude that I would struggle to explain it with my initial hypothesis of etheric tides. On the contrary, if such sudden changes are possible, then I may have to reconsider my premise altogether. Moreover, we can't safely return the whale to the sea until we know precisely what is at the root of this problem. Might the title bore hold the answer? Yes, I do remember considering that when you shared the people's tales with me. If we posit that the underwater ether currents are affected by the moon, much as the tide itself is, then any sudden change in the moon's state would naturally affect underwater ether levels as well. Recent changes in the moon? By the scholar, that's it. The destruction of Zodiark would have freed an unfathomable amount of ether from within the moon. It would be only logical if this had an impact on the underwater ether currents. If this is the explanation, my initial theory may yet be viable, with this recent outpouring of ether being the exception that proves the rule. We will need to watch closely for any similar incidents in the near future. Talaka. Word has it that you braved the journey by Aetherite to do some field work in Thavnir. Did you find aught of interest there? Explainy. I see. A word of advice, if I may. Any researcher worth his salt must be prepared to rethink and reevaluate their theories when presented with new evidence. Have you given any thought to how you might adapt yours? My initial theory was, to a degree, predicated on the existence of Zodiark. Now that he is no more, I am not entirely sure how we might... Pause. Unless we could... Pause. Yes, that's it. We could examine a species altogether more ancient, from a time when the heavens were free of Zodiark and other entities of high etheric concentration. Professor, please, this is no time for idle jests. I'm being perfectly serious. Why, I have complete confidence that Frontier here will be able to find what we require. I do not doubt his skills, but even the best of gleaners would struggle to find specimens of species that doubtless died out ages ago. O ye of little faith, our friend is more than up to the task. Isn't that so, Frontier? You talking about Elpis? Bah ha ha! Now that's the spirit Talaka. A good scholar must consider every possible option, even those that might seem implausible. Keep pondering the matter, and I have no doubt you will arrive at an answer ere long. Le shrug from me. Le shrug from he. And exit stage left. I think we're going to have to call it there for the night. We will return to this next Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the Studium quest so far. If you did, I will see you back here next Thursday.